Hello everyone, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we're going to be training just over an hour of chess. The ECF ratings have semi-updated, not published the official rating yet, but my most recent league match was updated, and I'm 2135, so we're almost at 2150, which would mean we're in somewhat of a home stretch towards that 2200 mark. So basically, I've got 5 games coming up. I've got like 2 league matches and 3 league matches and 2 4CL games. Yeah, I think so. Basically, I've got like 5 games of chess coming up in the next week. So yeah, want to kind of lock back in, try and perform as well as we can in terms of calculation, and yeah, no better place to get back to it than these Woodpecker streams. So yeah, I say this like we've taken a break from Woodpecker or something, but no, I just want to train some Woodpecker today. So yeah, let's get into it. Also, welcome Fritz. How's it going? How is life? Oh, and actually, I've been waiting for someone who is a YouTube member to hop on stream, because at some point, like last week, I updated the stickers, the emojis, for YouTube members. So you can you can try these out, and I'm curious to see how they look on chat. If they're great, then I could try and upload some more at some point. And I think the more YouTube members that are, the more stickers I'm allowed to add. There's like some weird system with that. But I thought they'd I don't know, make it more entertaining. Okay, yeah, let's keep going then. So we've got less than 100 to go. Still feels like many. Okay, Fritz says, life's going well, eating a nice pizza right now, fantastic. Got exams soon, and kind of getting more and more stressed about them, but I'll study soon, hopefully. Yeah, I can relate to that kind of mental, but yeah, at some point you'll get to it. Okay, nice. We have the Michael stickers. So from left to right, we have the clown sticker. So I guess that's going to be used if either someone is clowning or I'm clowning. I don't know. Then the second one I put as bruh. You can't really see my facial expression too well, but I don't know. It gave me bruh vibes. So I thought I'd include that. And then the next one, we've got me with the peace sign. Back when I had long enough hair to... a friend came around and gave me some nice... I've forgotten what the hairstyle is even called. Space buns? Gave me some nice space buns, right? But that's the V for victory. So if I win a game, let's spam the V sticker. And then the last one's just happy Michael. So, you know, if things are going well, then this can be nice. I don't know if the stickers are clear enough. Maybe I need to do something about it. But okay, it's something. It's a start. It's a start. We got to start somewhere. So okay, with that explained, also welcome Josh. Yeah, let's grind out some chess. Okay, so we've got queen, rook, bishop, 4-6 pawns, queen, rook, knight, and 6 pawns. So they've got rook and knight against bishop pair. Bishop pair is notoriously strong of a duo, whereas rook and knight isn't. So it's kind of in white's favor. Not to the point where the 2 bishops are actually stronger than a rook and knight, but it's like a bit more close, is what I'm trying to say. In terms of king safety, my king is quite safe, even though it's quite exposed. Black's king is under some pressure from the queen and bishop, but also it doesn't seem so easy for white's pieces to join the attack. Feels like some kind of sacrifice might be in need for one of these pieces to participate. Which might be enough to actually win, because yeah, this guy doesn't have too much wriggle room. Okay, so let's start with the piece tension then. So we've got 2 pieces pressuring the rook. Potentially we can just take this rook if we wanted it. Pressure on the e6 pawn. Protection on our c6 pass pawn. They've got some pressure here, some defense here. Defense to g6. Loose pieces. Loose bishop, loose rook. I'm just thinking as well, if I could lure this pawn forward, that would be lovely. But don't know how I'd be able to do that. Also, if anyone has any ideas about the stickers, like if I should continue in the same vein or if I should just switch it up completely, let me know. We can try get some nice stickers. Yeah, X-rays as well. So there's X-ray to the H8 square, X-ray to the queen, X-ray back. It is on a sticky square though. Maybe X-ray to this way? The rook has X-ray to these squares as well. So okay, with all that in mind, let's start looking at our checks, captures, threats. So checks, we've got queen takes, queen check, queen check. Captures, we've got bishop takes rook, queen takes pawn. Rook takes e6, bishop takes knight. And threats, maybe bishop here. I'm thinking of like this lift, but I guess it's something to consider maybe. This feels very slow. That could be something. Right, so let's start with our checks. So queen takes g7, queen g7, bishop g7, king g7. We got rook and bishop against rook and knight, but then... I mean, this guy is... it's defended. But maybe d5 can come at some point. I don't know, it feels like we probably got more than that position, but it doesn't look terrible. Okay, what about just simply... Oh, okay, let's look at the other checks first. No. No. Okay, so captures, we've got bishop takes g7, if queen g7. Do we have anything better than just trading into that same position we just looked at? I'm definitely starting to get vibes of like, you know, bishop g7, queen g7, rook e6, knight e6, bishop d5. Or maybe just rook e6 to begin with, right? So if bishop g7, queen g7, rook e6... they could throw in queen takes queen, and after pawn takes queen, then take, which would be fine for black. So let's now move on to the this rook e6 capture, because after knight e6, bishop d5 does look promising. Rook e6, knight e6, bishop d5. I mean, the rook on g7 is somewhat pinned in the sense that, like, this square is extremely weak. So what do we even play there? Rook e6, knight e6, bishop d5. If we had an extra move, we would just take on e6. So rook e6, knight e6, bishop d5. Let's imagine we go rook e8. Maybe I could push c7. Maybe that's enough. Rook e6, knight e6, rook, bishop d5, rook e8, c7. If rook takes c7, then there's queen h8, king f7, queen f6. Oh, but then there's king g8 back. But then you got bishop takes e6. There. That all looks quite promising. I mean, we get... Well, I don't know, we have sacked a rook there. Oh god, this is... difficult. Rook 6, knight e6, bishop d5, rook e8, c7, rook takes c7. If queen h8, there's also queen g6, but I think if queen h8, king f7. Maybe there, after queen f7, I just go queen h7. Yeah, that just wins on the spot. Because if queen blocks g7, just queen takes g7 is mate because the knight is pinned on e6. Yeah, so rook e6. Rook e6, if they don't take the knight, they don't have anything else, right? Rook e6, like rook h7, we could take on g6 either way, probably. Probably rook takes is even stronger. So rook e6, knight e6, bishop d5. How else can we deal with the threat of bishop takes knight? And I mean, okay, do we have anything else? I mean, I guess we had that like endgame position where, you know, it looks okay, but this does look like it has potential to win. Is there a defense though? If they try to use rook e7 to defend, can we do the same trick of like queen h8, king f7, queen h7, but this time we have king e8. So yeah, rook e6, knight e6, bishop d5, rook e7. I guess queen takes g6. Yeah, queen takes g6 just wins, right? Because if the queen blocks, we take with the bishop. If the rook blocks, then we can take on e6. So that just wins. Rook e6, knight e6, bishop d5. Maybe king f7? What happens on king f7? I guess we could go bishop takes knight, king takes, and then bishop takes g7, but there we have queen and bishop against queen and rook, but their king is very weak. Maybe I should have looked at my other candidates first in case there was something else that wins more easily, but for instance, maybe like bishop c5, like I didn't even get to look at that because I spent so long on this, which may just simply be winning with this threat. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've invested all my eggs in one basket, which is really stupid. Do we have enough vibes to play it? I don't know. I've got a few seconds left. I think we do it, but yeah, I don't know. I probably should have kept looking at my candidates because I didn't really have a strong backup. Would have been interesting to see this bishop takes d5, but bishop d5, king f7. I didn't have a completely satisfactory answer. If bishop takes g7 and queen takes g7 and now bishop e6, maybe just king f8. But then I can take and take. So maybe that's the refutation to king f7. So yeah, that's my fault. Okay, the sticks are funny. That's all I wanted to hear. Fantastic. Yeah, somehow Frizz, I didn't look at this bishop takes c5, dc5, rook e6 properly. I think it was a candidate. I hope it was a candidate move, bishop takes knight. But I just didn't get onto it. It seems like a worse endgame due to black's connected past pawn. Yeah, in that line where we trade everything. We'll have to have a look at that, because I can't visualize it now, but we're a few moves later. Gloin, you had your tournament. You got 3 out of 7. I'll keep trying to become a Class B player. What does a Class B player mean? Is this like 1800 FIDE? I don't quite know the terminology. But 3 out of 7, okay. Sounds like a tough tournament, but not too bad. Damn. So, okay, bishop d5. Let's see which move is played. Okay, so we got rook e8, and my original idea was just to push c7. And my thoughts were if rook takes, then I've got queen check, king here, and then queen check, which is just over. So c7, I don't think they can take. So is c7 enough to actually win? I mean, the threat is to promote and then take the knight. What if they play a move like Queen E7, for instance? Ah, okay. If Queen E7, then we can take. And if Queen takes, Bishop takes, King takes, then we can take. And if Rook takes, then promote. So I think C7 is just winning. King F7 now was a resource I didn't manage to find. And it is different, right? Because we can't just do this big trade. Or maybe we can. If they take here, then we can still take here and promote. So hold on. Queen takes, bishop takes. There's also bishop takes first as well, which should be considered. But if queen takes, it's more forcing. Queen takes, bishop takes. Can they ignore it and just play like rook c8 or something? So maybe that's why bishop takes would be stronger. Yeah, there's no queen e7 because bishop f6 looks very strong. If queen takes pawn or queen f8, like queen h7 looks really good. So bishop takes, and if queen takes, then I can go queen takes, which forces king takes, and then bishop e6, rook e6, promote. So bishop takes, the only other move then is king g8. And then we've got two bishops against rook and knight again. But I guess we can pop back to bishop f6, is that enough? If rook c8, guess we could go bishop d8. And also, yeah, the knight would be hanging there. So I think it's just too much pressure. Bishop takes g7, queen g8. And I just pop back to bishop f6. Rook c8, bishop d8. The knight is defended by the king, actually, so... And actually, if you guys think of any stickers we need emotions for, like if I commonly have a particular emotion which I haven't considered that would be useful for a sticker, then let me know. I can try think of something. Now, bishop g7, queen g8, bishop f6 feels like it should be enough. Rook c8. Bishop d8. There's no rook takes d8, pawn takes d8, queen takes d8. Then there's queen h7 at the end, and black has to part ways with the connection on the knight. I think it's just winning. Yeah, and then here just bishop f6. With the idea that if they try and block, then I play bishop d8. Yeah. Black is quite tied up and will end up losing material. I mean, this is what I was kind of gunning for. Bishop d4 was played. King e7, bishop b6, and rook f8 with some activity, apparently. Okay, that was actually quite nicely done. Oh dear. Bishop takes c5 at the start, runs into queen f7. Oh my. Well, thank God I didn't start by calculating bishop c5, otherwise I might have just been like, well, this works. Yeah, the point being is that wherever the bishop tries to run, or if they take the pawn, there's this rook h7 threat. And if the queen tries to run, then you just take the bishop and you can't take on e6 anymore. So queen f7 is a really nasty in-between move. Don't know if I would have found that. Yeah, crazy. Glenn says 1800, yes, indeed. I see. Okay, yeah, 1600, and played against 1800s and 2000s, okay. But need at least 5 out of 7 to promote. To promote? What does promoting mean? Or you mean like you'll need to be like a 5 out of 7 kind of player to reach 1800? Oh man, I'm gonna regret these stickers, aren't I? Fritz says, Michael, what do you mean you're calculating bishop g7, king g8, bishop f6? Isn't that what was played? Oh, I must have meant queen g8, not king g8. If I said king g8. Bishop takes g7, queen g8, bishop f6. A sticker of you strangling a woodpecker for when a puzzle is bad or poorly explained. That would be nice. That would be nice. That requires too much skill. If someone sends me a photo of me strangling an AI like woodpecker, or like someone photoshops it, I'll absolutely add it as a sticker. I don't think I've got the capabilities for that. Oh, never mind. You did say bishop takes g7, queen g8. I might be the clown. Nice. You could gaslight me, Frizz. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't know. I'd believe it. Yeah, queen f7 is nasty. Okay, cool. Well, that was actually somewhat successful. Did I need to run over any of the lines, or we just move on? I think this was good. This was well calculated. Let's move on. Okay, next exercise. Okay, Gelfand against Ponomarev. White to play again. Ponomarev to lose. So we've got Rook Knight against Rook Knight. 4-5 against 5. What's going on? So king safety is less of a big deal. I mean, this king is exposed, but there's no pieces to exploit it. I mean, you kind of want the king to expose when we're dealing with rooks. Also, Gloin, regarding your tournament, what would you say is like the biggest reason for your losses, and what was like the main way you're winning your games? I think it's always good to reflect on this. Okay, so tension. There's like tension like this. Let me start with white actually. So white's pressuring the rook, pressuring the knight. Maybe some check. Maybe some ideas like this. There's an X-ray on b6. Okay, and black is kind of pressuring like this. Some X-ray back, X-ray defense. Any other X-rays to consider? I mean, this is also to the back rank as well. Okay, fine. So checks captures... Oh, loose pieces? So this is defended by the same knight, which is a little dodgy. Everything else is kind of supported. This is being attacked twice and defended twice, though. This is loose, actually. This is loose as well. This is loose. Fine. So checks captures threats. We have a check. We have captures. Do you have any threats? Maybe rook c7 could be some kind of threat somehow. Didn't I just say that as well? I literally mentioned that earlier and then forgot that I mentioned that. And maybe there's some ideas of knight takes. Maybe we can get some pass pawn, but probably not working. Okay, let's start there. So checks. We've got this one check. Probably king f7 king e7 makes sense. Don't really know what we've gained from this move. I guess we could play rook a8 if we feel like adding pressure on a7 is worthwhile. Although by removing pressure on the knight, they can now move their rook and take this pawn. So yeah, not so sure about this. Captures, if we take the rook, well, they need to take back. And their pawn structure's been ruined, which is very nice. What if we play a move like knight f4? I mean, that looks very nice. I guess they'll probably push. But then we could come in knight d5, hitting the rook. Rook b8 would be forced. There's no rook d6 if I take the knight, so knight d5, rook b8. And maybe I got knight c7 at the end there. Because there's no good knight move without me taking the rook. So maybe that's actually all fine. In which case I would be very inclined to play it. Any other moves though? If we trade everything, no good. Same with the other rook takes. I don't think there's a difference. But yeah, rook takes here looks really nice after knight f4. I guess actually the knight is free to move, perhaps. Like, what if they play knight c7 to defend? We can take pawn takes, a7. They try and move the king, then I can take on d5, so probably king e8's a better try. I can take anyway. Is that winning if they go knight a8? I mean, definitely have the better pawn structure. Our king's gonna come out f2, e3, d4. Oh, we should try and push ourselves to be concrete. So, rook d5, pawn d5, knight f4, knight c7, rook b6, a b6, a7, king e8. Knight takes d5. Knight a8. And I guess we go king f2, king d7, king e3, king d6, king d4. So we are in time to like take the opposition and secure our knight on d5. I want to say that's winning. Question is, do we have anything better from the starting position? I don't think so. Like, there's rook c7 at the start, just knight takes. And if rook takes rook, pawn takes. a7 is nothing. So I think we have to try this. And as rook takes d5, pawn takes d5, is there something better? Don't think so. Oh yeah, let's go for it. And then knight f4 was the idea. Ah, so they do go for this. Which is what we were looking at, right? This idea to take, push, king e8, take and play knight a8, and question whether this is winning for white. But I guess another move that now comes to mind now that it's on the board. I've actually got knight takes d5 already. No, I don't. Because the knight takes and it defends, actually. So the knight defends temporarily, but the knight recaptures and defends, so I don't get a queen. I feel like this should be enough. Yeah, let's play it. Then push the pawn. There we go. Principle of knight endgames are often the same as in pawn endgames, and here the advanced and distant pass on a7 and the weak black pawns give white a winning endgame. So let's have a very quick look to see if it was how I suggested. Obviously, you wouldn't want to play king e7 here, just knight takes d5, and you force the queen. But king e8 was my line. And oh, to be at d4 probably would be interesting as well. We should look about after. With king e8, knight d5, knight a8. And I just said king f2, king d7, king e3, king d4. Yeah, that's +4. I mean, still some work to be done. But yeah, h4 seems to be the way. Let's say they just go back and forth. Ah, we can even use the knight to start harassing their other pawns, okay. And it takes quite several moves to actually go after this pawn. If they actually go after it then? This is quite nice. Probably always use the knight to sack for the pawn if needed. And then you've gotten rid of a pawn so that now you've got this 3v2. 4v2 really. Again, I can believe that this is completely winning. b5. Oh, it's actually... Oh, I thought it said knight f6. No, king f6. Fine. And they try and go quick with their pawn. Like this. At what point is it going to ask to sack? Already sacks now. Yeah, and that's already enough. It made me a bit nervous, but I guess, yeah, like this kind of stuff, it's just going to be too much. Not to mention white has an extra pawn as well. Nice, okay. Were there any other things to consider in this line? Knight f4. And yeah, d4 was this knight d5, rook b8, knight c7. So I'm very happy that I found this. Frizz remembers the puzzle was wild. Gloin says, my biggest weakness is lack of intuition on piece placement and poor middle game. My one immediate tip that comes to mind, Gloin, about piece placement intuitively is you want to have harmony between your pieces. Like, they need to be working together. If you look at them individually as isolated active pieces, then you're missing the bigger picture. They need to work together. Poor middle game, I would say a very big thing that a lot of decent adult improvers get caught up in is they'll actually play some decent chess to get some kind of advantage, but then they don't use the advantage. They're like, okay, I've achieved the passed pawn, and then they don't do anything with it. It's like your advantages are only advantages if you actually, make use of the advantage. So these are my 2 tips I would share from that statement, Chloe. Rook e5, rook e5, I assume that's d5. And we reroute a knight to c3 to put pressure on that pin. Seems slow, but maybe we're in time. Kinda, but definitely we want to reroute via f4. b2 is not so effective, I guess. So I guess we need a better route, and knight f4 definitely seems to be the way. Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, Ponomariov against Rabava. Also, welcome, Jan. Welcome. What's an adult improver? Yeah, not all of us can improve as adults, but okay, I've got reasons to be more optimistic, at least currently. Okay, Ponomariov against Rabava. Black to play. Again, Ponomariov to lose. They do not give this guy a break. So what's going on? We've got queen, rook, rook, bishop, bishop, knight, knight. Queen, rook, rook, bishop, bishop, knight, knight. 1, 3, 5, 6, 7 against 7. So only one pawn has been traded then. Their king is extremely safe. I mean, the only aspect that might not be safe is like this, which could be somewhat relevant. I feel like our king is very safe as well. I mean, if f5 happened, could they just take it and take it and take it? Probably. What would I play in the game? I'd probably play that classic Ulf Anderson motif of like trebling on the H file while utilizing my knight. But that's the sure and fast way to actually blunder your knight, because maybe they'll play like some knight g1 and then you lose. But okay, let's actually think. So tension. There is tension, double pressure on the knight, double defense on the knight. Bishop covers these squares. Bishop's kind of out of the game. Knight might want to try and enter somehow. Not so easy, even on g3. There's no entry points. Bishop might be able to put pressure more like this, securing the position somewhat. Queen and king were obviously somewhat weak, but no immediate way to punish. Okay, fine. X-rays. There's X-rays to the rooks, so maybe like some discovery could be relevant. They've also got X-rays back, so maybe in between moves are relevant. I'm gonna turn on the radiator. Okay. So loose pieces, do we have any? Knight on c7 is loose. I think that's it. I mean, this pawn is loose, so maybe that's some potential long-term plan. Okay, so what checks do we have? None. What captures do we have? We can capture on g4, capture on b5, use the knight to make some captures. Bishop takes knight as well. I mean, strategically, bishop takes knight could be a really nice move, actually. So if we take, and they take, and then we push g5, I mean, they've only got one more knight that can land on f5, and it appears that the bishop can't ever get there. And as soon as that knight comes to f5, we'll just zap it. So bishop takes knight actually looks like a potentially very strong exchange. And then we can spend however long we want rerouting our knights to this square. Yeah, very tempting. Like bishop takes knight and followed by g5. Okay, fine. Any other captures? Not really. Threats? Yeah, this discovery definitely needs to be explored where it gains tempo on the queen. So okay, these threats are actually feel almost as forcing as the captures, so maybe we should start there. I don't know, maybe captures are more forcing. So okay, if we start here, we'll just take. There's no reason to do that. Nor the knight ones do anything either, they're completely bad. So what about bishop g4? Does that change anything? Pawn takes? I mean, I'm looking at ideas of like moving the knight, but that shouldn't be better having sacked a piece. So let's look at these knight moves now. So what about this knight f4? If they just take, well, they've actually got a threat on g6 with the fork. So we can't just, let's say, meet this with this. Probably. So if they take, well, then that kind of doesn't really do too much. I mean, we can take, they can trade. You know, seems okay. Knight f2, is this any better? Well, this time if they take, then we're actually winning the exchange. If they take with the rook, we also win the exchange. So that's much more promising. What if they throw in the move rook h7? This is the real key move. If we can solve this, then we're probably good. But rook takes, queen takes, bishop takes. Looks like we got nothing there. And we're just down a piece. So knight d7, rook h7. Knight takes d3, probably rook h8. Yeah, and that's actually leading to mate. King g7 or king f7, just rook h7 is mate. I wonder if it's a combination of moves. Can we start with bishop takes? To be fair, the queen can always take, so maybe then there's no knight f2 ideas. That was actually a capture I forgot to look at. Bishop d2. I've also got to be careful of this strategic plan of like allowing the knight to come to h5. Maybe this is strong as well. Knight f2, rook takes h7 is forced. Am I missing anything? Rook takes. Wait. Knight f7, rook takes rook takes back, so it's equal. Rook takes rook, their upper rook. Take their queen, they take our queen. Then we take on e1 with check. And then we take their rook on e7. So does that not just win? Maybe I just wasn't calculating deep enough here, and then we just take on d3. Because we've got this. So then that, if rook h7 is not possible, then knight f2 just wins. Yeah, okay, fine. So this is the move. Oh, so they just give up the exchange, which makes sense. That's the better of the two moves. Nice. And the point is that comes with check, and then you pick up the rook. Yeah, that I think when I first looked at it, I was thinking like, you know, we just take back on h7, and then they just take on f2, and we're lost. But yeah, knight d3 is key. And knight f4 doesn't work because knight f4 and there's knight g6. Exactly. Okay, that was nice that we saw that. Rook h6 looks very decent. Rook h6, knight g1, knight takes g1. But how good is knight takes g1 there? Because rook h6, knight g1, knight takes g1. They can throw in rook takes h6, rook takes h6, rook takes g1. I mean, yeah, we get the h-file. Maybe it's not completely clear. Yeah, I think you got it, Frizz, in the end. Knight f2, rook h7, rook h7, rook h7, knight d3, rook e7, knight e1, king e7, exactly. But yeah, we can have a quick look at these two ideas that I had at the start. So, rook h6, not knight g1, but knight f1, doesn't care. Queen h7, or maybe we can start with this. Knight fg3, let's say this. Knight c3, queen h8, queen f1. Yeah, I guess we get the file, but maybe they're ready to challenge it as well. Like, they can just trade everything. And then queen h1. So maybe that's their remedy. They have to be quite precise, though. Like, knight g1 might be too careless. Oh, knight f4. Ouch. I guess the point is rook takes, and then knight takes d3. Yeah, we don't want to take too soon while we're still getting mated, but we can take first. Yeah, and then the other idea I had was this bishop takes d2, and then g5. So queen takes d2, and g5. Yeah, and white's actually better. That's quite surprising to me. I guess white's actually got this plan on the queen side, pushing the a pawn. And as we saw, maybe it's actually not so easy to create play on the H file if white is careful and handles it well. Very interesting. Do I really completely get that? Okay, I think that makes sense. I'm getting quite hungry actually, because I haven't had dinner yet. So yeah, once we're done here, munch is the plan. Okay, so Val's exercise 899. Yeah, Alakine Gun isn't doing anything in this position. How much time do we have? 17 more minutes. Okay, let's keep going. Exercise 900. Oh my god. It's crazy to think though that I feel like 900 puzzles to me is like a humongous amount, but then there's so many players out there who have just like done like thousands and thousands of puzzles. I guess these are like, you know, a good like 700 of them are like decently difficult. So I guess it's no mean feat. Anyway, black to play. Let's have a think. Finally, Ponomarev wins a game. So it's equal material but different pawn structure. We've got the pass pawn, but it's potentially a weak pawn, especially with the heavy pieces on the board. Our pieces look fantastic, like pressuring f2, queen is centralized. Of course, we need to watch out for our own threats. I would presume if the pawn was an h6, then there's absolutely no doubt that we're winning this. But we have to be a bit careful, because these pieces can bite back. The rook is defending the back rank, obviously pressure like this. Pressure this way, this way, this way as well. Protecting the pawn once. Potential for a check, given that the king is exposed. So, okay, that's some tension, x-rays. Maybe some x-ray to the back rank. X-ray to the knight, if we push it, for instance. I guess X-ray through this pawn, but I don't really see any good squares for it. X-ray to the back rank, maybe. Okay, and what about loose pieces? Loose knight on f3. Loose rook on d1. Did I say loose knight on f3? I meant c6. Loose knight on c6, loose rook on d1. Fine. So checks, captures, threats. So checks, we've got 2 checks. 3 checks, probably rubbish. Captures, we've got these captures. Threats, maybe knight e3 is a threat. This is also a capture. Maybe this is a threat. d4 is a threat. Gotta be careful though, maybe there might be some in-between check. Because any queen move that hits the knight or hits the rook is like a threat as well. So okay, let's look at our most forcing moves first. If queen h1, king h1, knight f2, king g2, nothing. Queen g2, king g2, nothing. Right? Queen g2, king g2, rook f2, king h3. Don't believe it. So, queen e1, just rook e1. Fine. So all the captures, we got knight takes f2. On knight takes f2, they could play queen takes d5, queen takes d5, rook takes d5. And that just seems fairly even. I don't think there's a way we can use the knight and the rook there. So what about rook takes f2, threatening mate? Well, again, queen takes d5, or they've even got queen d8. But rook f2, queen d5, rook d5. Here, I guess we might have rook takes h2. But then it is unclear after a move like rook d4. Wait, have they won the pawn yet? So that was rook takes f2, queen d5, rook d5. Yeah, they've won the pawn. So even if... Okay, rook takes h2, then we got 2v1. But it feels really sus. Like, maybe they just play rook g5 there, and wherever we move the knight, they win our rook. Yeah, I don't like that. So that was the line, rook takes, queen takes, rook takes, and rook g5. At the very least, I feel like white has that. So what about knight e3? Knight e3 is very cute because it also defends the pawn, threatens mate at the same time. Let's assume for a second that they need to take. Then I go queen takes e3. Looks very promising. Is king h1 or king g2? If king h1, then at the very least I could play queen f3 and pick up the rook. And in fact I can do that on king g2 as well. I can play, at the very least, queen f3 and pick up the rook. And there we've actually won a pawn and an exchange. So that looks very good. So knight e3, are there any other moves to save? Really don't think so. Looks very, very strong. Knight e3, they do have one check. I reckon we can even ignore it and just go king h8. I think we keep all the ideas alive. Yeah, knight e3 just looks like a game winner, as far as I'm aware. Let's go for it. Okay, nice. Mating is best, but other moves are winning as well. So that's what I said. Like, we've got queen f3 at the very least. But there might, of course, be more. And indeed, yeah, there's rook f2. Rook f2, what's the win? So if they come this way, then I've got this. If we go rook f2, king h3. I think I saw a very roundabout way to win. Queen h6, king g4. Queen g6, king h3, queen f5, and if g4... Yeah, it's definitely not the fastest win, but it leads to mate. Like queen f3, king h4, rook h2, king g5, queen f6 is mate. But yeah, I don't see the rook f4 mate in 4 immediately. Should I really find this? Yeah, there should be mate in 3 here. Oh, I can give a check here. That's probably it. But then they block. Yeah, I have no idea. It'd be so funny if it's a quiet move, but... No, okay, so apparently it's queen h6, king g4, and there's apparently a line here. A quick mate. Oh, probably now that they can't block. Ah, I see, and wherever the king moves, I guess we can take on h2 with check. Dude, I can't see mate in 2. Didn't see it. I presume it has to be this queen e6. Let's try it, queen e6. Nope, not queen e6. Queen g6. Ah, and if here, then I've got mate. And if here, then I've got mate. Okay, fine. I don't know. That, like this stuff is hard. Jesus Christ, Arjun. What's your thoughts on the Epstein files? Can we have someone who's a YouTube member put the bra emoji? And then we'll leave it. We'll leave it there. Jesus. I mean, to be honest, okay, like, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it at all because yeah, thanks Frizz. Yeah, just CBA to, I mean, clearly they're terrible people and, you know, people have gone missing and all kinds of stuff. I don't know how much of it is conspiracy, how much of it is fact. Yeah, I could go verify everything and probably watch some, video documentary on YouTube or something, and that covers all the details. But I don't know. Like I don't think my opinion of it is going to change drastically. Maybe I'll have a bit more concrete knowledge, but it's like, for what? I have no idea which line Faz just gave. Queen e6. Was it here? Queen e6, g4, queen h6. Oh, and then you've got the mate like this. Oh, so that actually works as well. Queen e6. Nice job, Faz. But then apparently the mate's a bit longer if king h4. But yeah, this is so natural as well. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, did not see this pattern. Maybe I should do more of these kind of like quick mate and twos. Let's just do a couple now. Let's just see if I'm actually just completely cooked to this, or if it's just a one-off. That kind of just pissed me off that I wasn't able to solve that fast. Maybe let's do this. Have any of you heard of these Leech's practice sets? I can quickly make my screen full size. I sometimes do this with some of my beginner students. But yeah, these are quite nice. So I could do. Oh no, these are just patterns. Is there no mate in 2, or is that only for puzzles? Okay, there's only for puzzles. But yeah, these are worth checking out, because these are actually like chosen by Leech's staff to make like some collections of like puzzle sets. I was thinking at some point I should probably like go through all of these on stream or something and just try and solve all of them, because I think they're pretty good. But yeah, let's just do a couple mate in 2s, and then we'll just get back to the grind. Okay, let's see if I can choke my 26-30 rating by not being able to spot mate in 2. Yeah, this is already... Oh wait, is it just check? If king, then here. If check and they block, then we go here. So I think bishop d3 is just the mate. Alright, so we're not going to gain any rating for this. I'm going to keep it rated, just because... If I get one of these wrong, I actually deserve to lose 100 rating points. So this must be... See, like, I would probably just do that, but... Takes. If the king moves, we've got mate on b2. If they take, then we just go queen takes. Maybe I should do a bunch of these, because they're not as quick as I would hope. We got +1 for that? Yo, this is... Okay, maybe I shouldn't make it rated. This is, like, cheating. That's almost a mate, but then there's here. And then that's a mate in 2. Pretty sure that's mate in 2. Okay, nice. Okay, rook h8, bishop h8, rook h8. But that again wasn't absolutely instinct. So maybe I do need to do a few more of these. They're actually quite fun to do. Wow, did I actually say that? That's crazy. Check, king here, and then takes is mate. I think that's all completely forced. Alright, one final one for good luck. Okay, push g4, pawn takes, and then it's mate. So okay, mate in 2 is kind of easy, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, good to just regain my confidence a bit, but I mean these ones are easier than you know, when it's like hunting down a king. Like sometimes they just wriggle away in a way that's very annoying. But okay, let's do one final puzzle. I think I did all the Leech's practice things, but alright. Yeah, I didn't think they're like amazing, but yeah, me saying I enjoy a puzzle, it's actually wild. Okay, let's do one more exercise. Welcome Faz, welcome Arjun, welcome Travis. Forgot to give some shout outs there. Okay. Fedorchuk against Ponomariov. White to play. So, Ponomariov to lose again, obviously. So we've got queen, rook, rook, bishop, knight against queen, rook, rook, bishop, bishop, knight. So they're up a piece. 4-7, 4-6. Okay, so we've got an extra pawn. Bishop h6 definitely jumps out, because if king h6, queen f6 looks very, very strong. But let's keep thinking. Yeah, what has happened to pawn Mariov's king? Doesn't look great. So what about the tension on the board? So yeah, there's this bishop tension on the pawn, queen tension on the knight, some tension on the knight on c3, attacked 3 times, defended twice. Queen is a bit exposed, maybe for some attacks. Pressure on d6. What about x-ray? Some x-ray here? I mean, x-ray here, probably not relevant, but you never know. Fine, so loose pieces. Loose rook. Loose pawn. Loose pawn. And that's it. So, okay, what checks do we have? We've got bishop h6. We got queen f6, queen g4, queen g3. Okay, and then captures. Again, we've got these 2 captures. Rook takes d6. And that's it. And then threats, we've got maybe b4. Does that change something? Bishop g5. Maybe knight d5. So let's start there. So our checks. Okay, bishop h6. If they were to take, they don't have to. We've got plenty other moves to consider as well. But let's hold up a second, because if they were to go anywhere else, then we can take the knight. So really, king g6, do we have an immediate kill? Perhaps, oh, maybe we can just take the rook. Maybe that's enough as well. Because then if we lose the knight, I mean, we did just gain a rook. I guess the other move that's a bit tricky is king h7. But then again, we can just take the rook. And yeah, definitely on king g8, we can play this queen f6. So this all looks very good. So if bishop h6, king takes, then we can go rook, rook takes check. Then go king h7 or king h5. Let's say king h7. I presume we can get away with rook g3. Threatening mate in 1. Also threatening queen h4. So, for that reason, what if instead they play king h5? That way, if we were to try and play rook g3, well, now we don't have rook g8 because the king's not protecting it. So how on earth do they stop this? I mean, this looks very, very basic, no? Is this not just completely winning and there's no counterplay whatsoever? Just a bit concerned I've missed something. Unless it's Axel Smith just trolling, which it could well be. Could well be. I guess maybe bishop g4? But then we can sack. We're still threatening g5. If king takes, then queen f5. King h4 is forced. g3 is checkmate. So that's a nice line. I'm pretty sure bishop h6 is just winning. I'm not missing something. There's only one check, counter check, which is queen f2, which does nothing. Unless, like, no, there's no knight forks. I'm literally taking it. I think it just wins. It just wins. Okay, that's confusing. So if takes, then just this. Is rook g3 enough here? Alright, let me actually get the analysis board from the start. How much of that was correct? Alright, bishop h6, king h6, queen f6. If king h7, rook g3 is winning. Yeah, mate in 5. If king h5, then rook g3. And again, this is winning. If bishop g4, then the idea was the sack. Yeah, and this wins. Very nice. So if they don't, and I said if king g8, then we can play queen takes f6, which wins. If here, I felt like we could just take the rook, plus 4, that's good enough to be winning. Yeah, queen takes f6 requires a bit more calculation, but yeah, rook g3, definitely something that can be found later if needed. And king g6, What did I say was my solution? I had something for sure. Yeah, just bishop takes rook. Wow, so bishop takes rook is not as strong, but it's still almost +2, which is like an exchange, right? So the point is actually, okay, I turn off Stockfish for a second. After king g6, I've got a better move then. Instead of bishop takes rook. I mean, for the record, if we were really concerned, we could always drop back as well. But I guess the point is that, yeah, there's something cleaner here. Trying to look at if there's some way we can like get rid of the threat while creating another one, but I don't really see what knight d5 does after knight takes. I guess knight d5 if knight takes pawn takes, and then we've got this threat as well as this threat. Maybe that's just winning. Let's have a look. I think that wins. Yeah, knight d5. If knight takes, then we just take with the pawn and it's +5. That's good enough. Apparently queen g3 is even more precise. How does queen g3 win? Ah, queen h4. And then rook g3, okay. See, that's not completely intuitive to me. But yeah, knight d5 gets rid of the threat, and then now you've introduced a new threat. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's see how people did. Yeah, indeed. I was counting down the subscribers that I needed to get rid of the 67 minutes of training. For real. I was so happy. You can test the math. I'm not kidding. 4,054 subscribers, 2 seconds, 2 minutes is rounded up to 68. Wow, Faz got it first time. Bishop h6, king g6, knight d5. And if bishop f8, bishop takes c3, which is unclear, crazy stuff. I mean, I guess for a line to be played, I mean, evaluating that you're an exchange up is probably good enough. Once you actually get to the position, then you should probably have another think to see, you know, is it enough? But to be able to play it from afar, I think being an exchange up is completely reasonable. Like, you don't want to really spend the time calculating knight d5 here, unless, okay, if it comes in seconds, then sure. But, yeah, you don't need to find knight d5 over bishop f8, I think. As long as once you get there, then you actually find knight d5. Top move after king g6, Faz on fire. Yeah, fork is good too, exactly. That was a mate though, that was a mate. Frizz asks, can you check bishop h6, king g6, bishop f8, bishop c3, and queen g3? Sure, let's have a look. So bishop f8, bishop c3, queen g3 here. So apparently no mate after knight g4. Brutal. I mean, just simply have to move the rook. Yeah, I guess the problem is if you play like h3, they can just take the rook and... Oh, I was going to say that this isn't enough, but... I mean, I guess you're risking things a bit. But wow, queen f2. Ouch. To trade queens. That's brutal. Yeah, which makes some sense why rook f1 is commonly the move to play at this moment, for instance, even. Like, not rook d1, not rook b1, but just safeguard this. But actually, maybe it's not completely clear that we're clean exchange up, because the bishop's actually a bit misplaced. So knight h5, do we actually get this guy out? That's so weird. After 95, now we go back to Rook D1, given that there's no more 94 nonsense. I think. But yeah, I don't know. Somehow a bit above my pay grade. And speaking of above pay grades, we are definitely above the training time for today, and I do not enjoy doing these exercises. So I think that's a good workout, and I will call it a day there. But basically, I've got a league match tomorrow, league match on Thursday, league match at the weekend, and I think I've got a league match on Tuesday next week, and then I am yeeting off to the US for a few weeks. So I've got some fun plans there. I'm probably going to check out the chess scene. Maybe I'll even try and do a bit of vlogging while I'm there. I think some chess lifestyle Washington Square Park is going to be pretty iconic. So we'll have to hustle some hustlers. That's going to be entertaining. So yeah, that's on the agenda. So probably I'm going to leave packing for New York the Tuesday night with my flight on Wednesday. Have I even booked train tickets? Wait, hold up. Am I flying from Manchester? No, I'm flying. Oh, I remember. So it's actually cheaper to fly from Manchester to New York with a layover in Heathrow than booking the same flight from Heathrow to New York. So I booked a flight from Manchester to Heathrow to New York, which is a lot easier for me and cheaper. So yeah, I'm so focused on the classical chess grind. It'll probably take me finishing that league match on Tuesday night and then just packing that evening. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, guys. But yeah, that's the plan. So that's gonna be fun. And thank you for the best of luck wishes. Yes, see you at the Foncia Faz. That's gonna be great. And yeah, great training, guys. So see you on Wednesday for some more Woodpecker grinding. Okay, bye, guys.